Hello, welcome in to a live episode of Coffee and Chel, episode 68. Myself and Padre holding down the fort as Kesso takes his hiatus from hockey content. On today's episode, we will briefly discuss the new stuff in Hut because we did get team builders today, which people have been waiting for months. And then we're going to potentially argue about my Leafs just cruising in these playoffs and all the other stuff going on in the Stanley Cup playoffs. So, Padre, let's first discuss the team builders. So today, they finally came out. They were a little late, super delayed. I don't know why in terms of the cadence at which they were released. So we get to our 498s. And the biggest sticking point so far after releasing them, they're all pretty basic when you look at them. They're all like giants, ogres, 6'5" and whatnot. So that makes sense. However, we got a lot of double up in terms of teams. So we got Ryan Graves from the New Jersey Devils as one of the most expensive cards there is. After we got the 95 Bobby Holik. We got Eric Daze from the Chicago Blackhawks after we got the 92 Brent Seabrook. We got the 98 Eric Stahl from the Carolina Hurricanes when we already have Jake Gardner. And then we got Uwe Krupp, I think that's how you say his name, from the Colorado Avalanche. So let me get your first take on the selections. Do you think they're all right? Whatever. It's or how is your thoughts on those?
Yeah, I mean, I know there's the thing is I don't know what the standard what people would want, I guess. Do they want the biggest name guys? Because I mean you kind of go from Yager to Ryan Graves. I know it's not the same position, but you want the biggest guys. You were joking with me and you're like, oh, we got Chris Pronger, and it's yeah, you probably want, honestly, at this stage of the game, since it's dead, you probably wouldn't mind a Chara, a Pronger. I don't know. Just make it fun, I guess, for people. And make it OP, because that's the whole point of the card, right? I mean,
I think they backed themselves into the corner. We've been playing a lot of MLB, and they switched to that new format where it was season based, and they just released 99s at launch or every time season. And now, obviously, I don't think it would work with Hut unless they went to a build format, or maybe they capped them at 92s. But because of how progression works, and there's fewer and fewer team builders, once you get up to the very end, those cards are gonna be the best cards. And I just don't understand the choices that they made. You're not getting a lot of team representation. I made a joke that Yager and Bukaboom have been so good for me on my no money spent team that I really don't see how I would trade them in unless it was one of four players. So I think Joe Thornton would have been a great one. I think that's a fan favorite. And yeah, obviously selfishly as a Sharks fan, I thought Matt Sundin would have been a great one. 6'5", massive dude. He's a Toronto Maple Leaf. And another one would have been Chris Pronger. I think would have been perfect, or Eric Lindros.
Oh yeah,
those. There's big guys that were very popular, and I'm just not sure the obscure choices they made, because now you got to dump all your coins. I mean, dude, I looked on the market today. There was under 5,000 cards on the market total. So. And if you search them by base cards for actual using team builders, there's under 2,000. So some teams only have 35 total. So if someone wants to make that team and they don't have the cards already, you're just not going to. So that's unfortunate. I don't know how they fix that other than just making better selections, but I guess it's kind of subjective. In the comments, let me know some of the choices that you would have rather seen, or maybe you enjoyed them. I mean, I guess if you're a Devils fan, you're laughing, but what's crazy about the Devils too is that Beagle was actually a makeup for Zajac, so they would have had 3, which is just wild to me. And then I don't think Montreal has ever had one. It's just crazy. If you're trying to get people to spend money, which I'm assuming is the goal, right? It just, another one would have been, they just got the rights to Alfredson. I forgot Alfredson was in the game.
Yeah, he would have been a good one for
92 or 95.
90, yeah, I think he would have been there's just, I don't know, there's just, because Hawk told us, I know for a fact he told us one time, I don't remember where it was at, but I know he said that the whole point of it was to have the most overpowered cards. So if that's the case, then if you wanted to be safe about these, and then at the end of the year, like I said, make these like crazy ones, and who cares? You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah,
I
in
don't know, I
terms
don't
of like
feel
in game, they're all amazing. Like,
Yeah,
I think that
right.
UA Krupp is nuts. He has truculence. He's 6'6", 250 pounds, and has like 98 skating. Like easily like one of the best cards in the game. But yeah, like it's not the amount of coins it's going to cost if you don't have them already. You're just simply not making them. So it is what it is. We do have the our first stream in months for the NHL 23 World Championship. Which is going to be fun. So
you're doing it right.
Yeah,
Like
I'll be on the
okay.
broadcast today. I was going to go to San Jose for the Sharks Pacific Cup, but I have to go to Sweden for the European Championships. Eki is one of the 4 that made the land, as is Nikki Dangles. Other than that, I don't know the other 2. I think they're newer guys. But we'll see who wins that. Maybe Eki wins like his 15th Europe title. I think
The minor leagues.
I think the minor leagues. I think that he needs to come over here for 6 months. I think that would just be great content. I'm sure he could. I bet he could find someone.
I
to fund
agree
that.
because I would just like to sit back and watch it. Not even like
That's the thing. Like you would watch no matter what if you were in the NHL community, you would watch to see how that played out.
At least like keep tabs on it.
Yep.
Like something.
Exactly. So, but for the North American one, we're down to 8, and we talked a little bit about it on last episode. Excited to see Duncan Deli and see how he performs. He might, make it back to the big dance. We're no regs, no Gren, no polls. Yep. We'll see. It's gonna be a biggies. That'll be this weekend. But okay, enough Hut. All right, where do you want to start? All right, we got a lot of. We can start in some of the other series before we get into the big one.
Let's just go right out the rip here with the Leafs, because it could go a while.
We were battling in the text messages in Game 3. All right, so I got some points of Game 3 that I want to go over, and we'll get your opinion, and we'll have a nice discussion about it. All right. So first, the point no goal. What's your stance on that?
I didn't love it. I've always just hated that rule in general. You know what I mean? Like the ref loses sight of the puck, but everyone else sees it because he's behind the net over here, but everyone over here can see it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It always just like that gray area. And that one was so like it wasn't even like, oh, it's like under his like foot or his pad. Like you could see it like sitting there. If the ref were like in front of the goalie, he would have saw it, because like when they show the other angle, everyone else sees it sitting there. Like it wasn't like it was like way underneath his pad and you could like barely see it. So that one kind of just annoyed me. But I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's just part of like just bad luck. Honestly, I think I honest to God, I felt like a lot of this series they've had kind of some crappy luck. The Lightning, whether it's puck luck or just every I mean, like I made a joke to you in text that was talking about Austin Matthews has like 2 deflection goals this year, or 2 deflection goals in the series, and like how many times did he tip the puck this year? You know what I mean? Because they're like a lot of people that follow the team a lot. They're like, oh, he never goes to the front of the net. So it's just funny to me. I think some of the bounces that they've had with puck luck and whatnot, and like I told you last night too, I said they were bound for it to happen eventually.
No,
you know what I mean?
I think on the point goal specifically, we'll get into Game 4 in Matthews. So the point goal specifically, there was I know you listen to Sportsnet and Hockey Central. Well, not Hockey Central. What is it called? I mean, I guess it's just 32 Thoughts now.
Like the Jeff Merrick show every day.
Yeah. I don't know if it was on there. Maybe it was on Daily Faceoff with Saravelli, but there was someone that said Point jabs at it twice, and it doesn't go in until the second one. And he said that if it would have hit the first one and gone in, that might have been like a goal, because the same thing, almost the exact same thing, happened in the Boston Florida game. A little bit different because the only one in the world that didn't see it was Bobrovsky.
Yeah,
because that was literally just right in his schmank. Essentially, it was just sitting there. I mean, he
seems to be a little bit lost in the last 5 years.
Yeah, exactly. But
got that contract. He's done.
I think that this is stuff that all playoff runs have moments like this, and not to mention that would have made it 4-2. It's not like that would have been the game winner. Well, I mean, it could have been, but like it wasn't like the game they were already winning still, right? It didn't cost them the game because you don't know how it would have gone. Maybe they do score twice.
Wait, real quick, because we're live on Twitch right now. Washed up thumbs. The shot off Stamkos' toe in Game 4. Okay, that's fine. Do you want to talk about Matthew Nyes pulling a puck off the goal line too? I mean, there's been a lot of things that have been
hockey
like, whoa.
Hockey requires the most amount of luck.
Yeah, like yes, I understand the shot went off Stamkos' foot. I'm just saying, I feel like the Leafs have had a lot. I mean, let's be honest. And you want the Leafs to win. You want your dad to see the Leafs win a cup. You want to, whatever 10 different reasons you probably have. The Leafs, I think you would both agree, or you would agree. They've been outplayed in Game 3 and Game 4, and they just had good, one amazing comeback and another.
Game 4, just like the first 2 periods, it looked like they were, they were, and Game 3, they got crushed. Like the shot attempts were 96 to 35. Like it was not close. And but that's a whole other thing I want to talk about though. But so the next thing up is the Stamkos and Matthews fight.
Oh yeah,
this was it, bro. This was it. That Matthews. So this is Game 3. We're not talking about Game 4 yet.
Yes.
I legitimately, and you alluded to it. I have no shark. I have no dog in the fight. But I have been.
We both done.
Exactly. We both done. I have been obsessed with the Leafs' series, and yes, it has. I want to see my old man's getting up there. He's the one that got me into hockey. I was not allowed to play hockey when I was a kid because of my mom, and it was a huge regret. But I remember watching the Leafs every single day with my dad.
And that's a valid reason, I think.
Yeah, and
I think that's a good reason.
We have talked more in the last 2 weeks than we probably have in the prior 4 months. And we went to Game 1, and we just don't get to do that a lot. So I'm all in wanting to see my dad see them win because he's a great Leafs fan. He doesn't talk about them. He just watches them every single night in silence. Mm-hmm. So, anyways, Stamkos fight. That is a lot going on there. I have never despised a great player faster than Austin Matthews after that sequence, man. I texted you. I'm like, that is the least American hockey player in the league. A couple things, because a lot of Leaf fans are going to be like, why would he want to take himself out? They're probably going on the power play, all of that. I said this to you as well. It was not Maroon, Perry, or Jeannot that grabbed him. And he knows who grabbed him. It was Stamkos. So if the guy going off is Steven Stamkos, it is not like you are losing the difference, the difference in skill. So, and not only that, I just don't understand how a man 6'3", 230 pounds, and plays the toughest sport in the world can just take punches from another man that he's competing against and just be okay. He didn't drop the gloves. His glove flew off, And I understand you don't want to get punched in the face. You want to know one way to not get punched in the face? Punch the dude back. Hit him. He's a much tougher man than me. But I just don't understand how you're not so mad that you're there's no fight, man. I've never instantly disliked a hockey player more than that. Because it was, I think back to there's a lot of Leaf fans that have never seen the Leafs in the playoffs do well. And a lot of, you said something earlier, I knew how old the Leaf fan I was engaging was, under 20 or 20 years old.
Yep.
I want every Leafs fan that was not alive 2000 or below, or you were born after the year 2000. I want you to Google Vinny LeCavalier and Jerome McGinley. Because Vincent LeCavalier was not a big, rough, tough customer, but Jerome McGinley was. And he just went toe-to-toe and just fed each other.
Joe Thornton, Ryan Getzlaf, right off the rip. Yeah. Joe Thornton, Jamie Benn. Again, Jamie Benn. I mean, just different there's something about... And people, he could break his hand, he could break a fan. Okay, that's fine.
You'd go down to drop to block a puck.
Yeah, and people don't understand it. He was getting ragdolled by Stamkos. So it's and I love Matthews, because he's an American. I'm excited to watch him play for Team USA if that ever happens. But yeah, I don't understand it. Because everyone on Twitter, this is my biggest gripe with Leaf fans. It has, I'll get to that in a few minutes. But it's, everyone's that's his first career fight. It's what? He didn't even do anything. He was holding on. It was almost like he was holding on and just kind of wrestled the ground. I don't know. It was just weird. And people were going nuts about it. And I'm like, all right, whatever. But I didn't understand it either. I'm like, dude, drop the gloves and start throwing them. Who cares? Because I got chirped on Twitter, some Leafs fan, that we play NHL with. Sniz is his name. I don't even remember. He used to play LG. He's like, oh, you wouldn't have fought in that Padre. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? I probably wouldn't have started the fight. But if I got grabbed and people started beating up on me, just put your head
down and start throwing them. You know what I mean? It was just,
I would have done something.
But on top of that, so that happens, and he goes to the box, right? And the Leafs do something they have not really done in the 6 prior knockouts in the first round, and they tie it up late, and it has nothing to do with the Big Four. It's Ryan O'Reilly, and it is the exact reason as to why you go and you get Ryan O'Reilly. He's a Cup champion. He ties it up late. And then I was like, so I don't know if you follow me on Twitter, I'm live tweeting this, and I'm just like, this is the moment where Austin Matthews or one of them can just like right all the wrongs, score one of the biggest goals of their 6 years, because this is a game they shouldn't have won. They had no business being in that game. They got absolutely smashed for 3 periods essentially, and Ryan O'Reilly wins the draw, and Morgan Rielly just sends one to the net, and again, it's because of O'Reilly, and it's just like they had nothing to do with the Big Four, and they won. Yep. And that, it's just like, I don't understand how Leafs fans can just accept a great regular season player who does not show up in the playoffs at all, ever, until, and again, we're talking about Game 3, because I think that in Game 4 was like their final or their first big moment, which is why this feels a little bit different. But that was just, it sent me, bro, because I've never been this into like the Leafs, and I was just like watching, it was just, it was tough. Like that was just so infuriating to watch. Now, the next point I want to make is the hit on point. So that whole sequence of where Stamkos and Matthews get into a fight, dude, that is a veteran team. So Keefe actually touched on it immediately after. I said this on stream and was talking, I don't know if I was talking to you about it, but I said this on stream the day after. Like, that's a veteran team knowing like how it goes in the playoffs, how penalties are called, when you can be rougher and toe the line against a team that just doesn't really know. Because if you notice, every time the Leafs want to be tough, like actually tough, they lose their mind and someone gets suspended for 4 games. Like Kadri every year, you just snap his shit and elbow someone in the face or cross it, and then bunting. Like, it just happened. Whereas the Lightning, so that hit on points, first of all, like, that looked gross, but it was not a penalty on Morgan Rielly, right? Like, you don't... Maybe it could have been called in real time, but I think right call was made that there was no penalty on it, because it was just, he went in, and you could see Point trying, he knew what he was doing, he just went in awkwardly.
Right? Like, at most, it'd just be like a 2, like, I don't know, I mean, you could just say maybe, like 50-50 on the, like,
Are you mad that he didn't get a penalty for it?
Not really, but it's just like it's just a dangerous play in general. Anybody that's going head first, and it's like they're going so fast that, and like I definitely believe that Point is banged up now. I don't think he was like faking anything.
I don't know if he was faking it, but he skates out of there real quick, and you see
he
him
only
look
came
back.
out though for like 2 shifts, and then overtime he came back out, like he like played in because he's like, well, then they blew the lead again, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
no, absolutely. But they like, you just see him skate out of the thing, because I thought he like broke a rib. Like, I thought, like,
he could have. I mean,
he looks
I know
back,
O'Reilly.
Though, he looks back, and then he looks like he gets shot like an old Western, bro. Like, he just goes.
I mean, he could have broken a rib though. I mean, I don't know, because O'Reilly, I know, played in the Cup final in 19 with like 3 broken ribs.
Oh, I'm sure that did not feel pretty. First, like, it looked like he broke his neck. Like, he just
it was scary.
But then you see, he like looks back and he sees Kucherov go and cross-check Rielly in the back on the ground. Like, that's a penalty. So here's my point. The Lightning already know that they're getting a penalty, right?
Yeah.
And the precedent that the Pavelski thing set was that, like that being there saved the Leafs from probably going down on a penalty kill, because they call it a 5 so they can go and review it, which is huge, because they review it and they see that wasn't a penalty. But Rielly knows that he goes down, and the more that you're hurt, the more that like significance is the call. But even more, Stamkos goes and grabs him, and Keefe alluded to this. Did you see the Keefe thing?
Yes. I saw it.
And he said that like that's like, and I'm 100% on board, because that's what the Lightning were doing. Stamkos sees, and he knows that, Kucherov's already going to the box, and they're going to take 2, and they're not going to give him a double up. The Leafs probably should have been on a 5-on-3. But, like, that's just an example of a veteran team in the Stanley Cup that has been on 3 straight Cup runs, that knows exactly what to do, and Leafs just aren't there yet. And I think, like, this is what comes with winning rounds, because they have no idea how to handle themselves up until this point. And I thought that was a great call on Keefe, and the reason I wanted to bring that up is because in Game 4, if you notice, the first or second, I think it was in the first period, the first scrum, Hedman like kind of shoves, I don't remember who it was after the play, immediately got called.
Yeah, it was Tavares.
I bet you any money it has something to do with Keith calling out the rest, being like, the Lightning know exactly what they're doing because they only took one. And I was like, okay, like that was good gamesmanship from Keith. But all right, so on to game 4. All right, the Leafs come back and it's huge. I go into game 4 hating Austin Matthews. And 4-1 happens, and then I'm watching Prison Break with my wife now, and I have my phone up watching the Leaf game because I'm like over it. They score. Was that like you saw the like this? It's funny because you have a very, very similar fan experience as Leaf fans. If you really think about it, the Blues went to the playoffs 25 straight years, and they were knocked out early almost every single time. So like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how frustrated you were growing up because it probably got old, in your teens, and then you get the cup at the end, but like. Is that not there that make this team feel any different than the prior years where they're up 3-1 and all of that?
What, them winning? Like, do I feel
how
like
they won in game 4?
I don't. It's just my biggest thing is just like it's like I get it, and I don't think they'll choke like they have in the past now, right?
You think that was Tampa's season then?
I mean, I'm not going to say that because
that's what you're saying. They're not going to choke.
No, I don't think they're going to choke. Like I think they could like go back to Tampa like and win, or they'll win a game. Like I think they'll lose next game for some reason. I don't know why. I don't think
they're going 7 if they lose the next game.
Yeah, I don't think. Well, I said they win in 7, but I mean, I wasn't like for sure like what. I never am sure like what game teams are going to win. I just think I just pick like the winners, but yeah, I don't know. This doesn't feel like the same team. And my biggest thing is O'Reilly. I mean, as slow as he is and as much mileage he has on him, like he's been, and it's not even just like the little goals around the net, because I've seen him do that like 1,000 times with the Blues, and just in practice he works on that stuff, like the game tying goal. It's like the face-off wins. He's won so
he's dominating on the face-off in this series.
Oh, he's so good defensively, and like we saw the Lightning's old coach Ladon. He was talking about just like Vasilevsky being like one of the weaker goalies in the league when it comes to tracking the puck from the point. And I've been like making jokes about how they just been firing like junior pens, NHL, whatever year you want to call it, like just turd shots on net. And my biggest thing when I'd say like they get the puck luck is like, yes, I understand that like Vasilevsky doesn't track the puck well. It's the fact that every time they tip it, it's ending up in the net. It's not hitting us, like it's not getting tipped and missing by this much, or it's not getting tipped and it hitting, Vasi in the face or the chest, or it's always going in the net, whether it's Kerfoot or a Chari. I mean, like I just go down the list. It's just crazy to me. Like, and that makes me think like, well, maybe it could be, their year somewhat. Yeah. But like this is just round 1, and that's what I keep like. That's what
you
cracks
can't
up.
think ahead if you're a Leafs fan,
right?
But
this is what makes me.
It's not good.
And this is what annoys the crap out of me with Leafs fans. And this, like, let me get on my little rant here.
Yep, go ahead.
They are worth $2 billion. They can get any free agent they want, pretty much, money-wise. They can compete money-wise. Now, whether or not they come there is another thing. Mm-hmm. They have 2 players making $11 million. One almost makes $11 million, Marner. They've had the big 4 now for, this is their 5th season together? Matthews is in his 7th year with Marner, and this is as far as they've gone to this point where they could get past the first round. So, what are we playing for here? Because if we had this as like, they're not the Toronto Maple Leafs, they're called the St. Louis Blues. People in St. Louis would be like, it's cup or bust. I don't hear that from Leafs Nation. All I ever hear about is win around. It's like, when did the expectation level from a $2 billion franchise turn into like, well, let's just win around? Like any other sport, that team would be like they need to win a cup, or they need to go to the cup at least. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Vegas, it's like they need to go to the cup. You know what I mean? Edmonton, they need to go to the cup. Why is the Leafs expectation?
I think that's just
it's just
because
win one round. Yeah, and it cracks me up because all I ever see on Twitter like is just the kids we play with video games with, right? So it's like I see, and I'll say Polgs in chat. Polgs was born the last time they won a series. That just puts it in perspective, like for me. So when I see these people like always being like, "Oh, I went through like all this heartache," well. For example, like Polks, your whole life from like 1 to 8, you don't even remember. Yeah. So it's just like, and it's like a lot of people online, whether it's like Saphir or Bones on Demand, Exposed, all these Leafs fans, like cracks me up because like I don't remember things from when I was like 1 to 8 years old, practically. So it's like, don't tell me like, oh, I've been through the heartache and like this is and the same thing. Like before the playoffs, what was the excuse? Oh, this playoff format sucks. We got to play the Lightning. You played the Habs in your arena
and Columbus.
And Columbus was even worse because they played every single game in the Scotiabank Center arena, and like they got to be in their own locker room. And I know there was no fans there, but it's like you played crappy teams. Like that Canadian team was so bad. Like it's not even funny. Like it's just so all that stuff just like grinds my gears when I see like the woe is me, poor Leaf stuff, and it's just like, dude, like you guys are the New York Yankees without all the titles. Like it's mind boggling to me.
So like there is a living here. All right, so like I've lived.
You live there.
I have a different experience. Right? I have a different experience. So like
you live there.
If you were to design a fan base, the Leafs fan base is as a team is what you would want because take St. Louis. I'm sure there is a lot of St. Louis Blues fans, but if I were to hazard a guess, the Cardinals are more important.
Oh yeah,
yeah, like not even close, probably just from where you're located. And the Cardinals are one of the most historic franchises. Like the Leafs, it's like the whole country. I know there's other parts of the country that have teams and there's fans out there, but like it's just like I texted or I tweeted out the Maple Leaf Square. It's wild, bro. Like these people live and die. Like no matter how bad their day is, a Leafs win can solve like a week of just shitty work. You know, like I think they're just so passionate about it. But the problem is that when they win and they're on the high, dude, it's like a street drug. They're like, it's like you get this massive high and you're flying, and then you get this massive low when they lose. Like they're like,
and let me say this.
Let me
say this. I don't blame. Like you should be ecstatic. Like that's awesome. Like they won an amazing comeback, right? Like that's unreal. Like I'm not knocking people that do that. My thing that cracks me up is like the arrogance of some Leafs fans. It's like you haven't even won a round. You haven't won a cup. Like, you haven't won anything, and you have one of the best players probably to ever play in Austin Matthews by the end of his career. Mm-hmm. And it just cracks me up, like, the arrogance I see them. They're just like, it's, they're not arrogant until they're, like, in the playoffs, and then they're, like, biting their nails. It's just, it's the weirdest thing, because, like, they'll win, like, one game, and it's, like, I mean, there's a lot of people today that are making jokes about, like, Ryan Whitney was like, oh, they win the cup today? Like, is it over? It's like, I saw John Buccigross, like, same thing. Like, they're crying and stuff. It's like, dude, like, take it from me. Like, the Blues, it went 52 years, and I was only alive for 28 of it or something like that. So it's like, I went through the same thing. Like, I care about the Blues just as much as any of those guys care about the Leafs. Yes, I'm from St. Louis. I'm not from Toronto. I get it's not the hockey mecca, whatever.
But like, you are a diehard Blues fan,
right? And it's like I went through I went to a million games. I skated. I mean, I did so much things with the Blues. Spent money. Like, you just go down the list. Like, I understand like what they've gone through. It's just like. But the whole, just like I said, the Twitter, the stuff I see on Twitter, it just makes me laugh so much. And some of it, I swear, like I was busting your balls about it because I'm like, oh, like you're doing the Nasher thing, like doing the tweets for like the engagement. Because like, let's be honest, Paul Bissonnette knows exactly what he's doing. Paul Bissonnette knows.
Oh, hooking onto the Leafs. I mean, dude, he's from Welland. He's from like 10 minutes from me.
But you know those guys.
A Leafs fan.
But yes. like let's be honest, when these guys play in the NHL. Their fandom for their childhood team goes out the window as soon as if they don't play for him, right? Like, he never played for the Leafs. Like, he was a Coyote, and like I guess he was a kind of an LA King, but like they don't care. You know what I mean? Like
I bet he has a lot more feelings for the Coyotes than the.
Like, look at Steven Stamkos. He could have been pajama boy, like just like Tavares, and he could have gone home, and he didn't go. And like, he wants to shove it up the Leafs butt this series. He doesn't care. I'm just making the point. I just think it's like there's definitely some people, and maybe that's part of it on my time. Like, I know there's like Polgsy. I know you're a diehard Leafs fan. I'm not. I just use you as an example because you're in the chat. But there's definitely some that I know that do it for the engagement, and I get a kick out of that. And it's just like, it's just cringy. I don't know. It's just like the most dramatic, like over the top fan base I've ever seen. I think it is,
man. It 100% is. It 100% is.
It's just it's the sky's fault, because like I always joke too, because people's like, if they lose Matthews, right? Like, oh my gosh, like, okay, great, they'll be fine. They'll go sign two more guys.
Yeah, dude, if they lose Matthews, what are they missing in the playoffs? Like, you'll get in. Matthews
Well, they'll be
is
fine. They'll go sign like 2 top free agents for like
Yeah.
$7 million a piece. Like they have the money to do it. Like it's like I never like worry. Like if I'm a Leafs fan, like you have a core now. Like I don't know. It's and like everyone that thinks like everyone's like I see people like Padre Leafs hate. Like I literally hate the noise is what I hate. I don't even hate like I don't hate like Leafs players. I don't hate the actual team. Like I didn't start hating on the thing until I saw like the Twitter nonsense. It's like the little like I remember it was like game 1. I was chirping Flash Dad because he's like they go down 2-0 and then I think was it the Bolts make it 3-0 and then they score 2 and he's like we back baby and it's like dude it's game 1 period 1
dude
like there's no we back.
You know what's so funny? So like they made it 3-2. That was the game me and my dad were at, and like why it was so important is my dad like just is the type of guy to never spend money on himself. So like the fact that we went and I was able to take him, like it was awesome. And like we don't ever hang out that much, but he is the quietest, stoic, like big guy. And they scored that second goal, and he's up swinging the towel, just having, and
But
then
that's cool. That's cool.
no,
That's
like,
having
it was a
fun. Like,
minute and a half until Point scored to make it 4-2 on a brutal call. I mean, we want to talk about reffing. I have a point on that, but it was just like I texted my dad the other day. I'm like, "Hey man, at least we had that minute and a half. I'll remember that for the rest of my life." And he just joked like, because after that we just basically
because like if you're a Leafs fan, you should be excited. You should be cheering. Like I'm like I'll never knock that. I just think like the dramatic like lunatic.
You need to chill.
Yeah, it's just
be
it's
happy,
like
but don't be like they're gonna win.
Like the cup is ours. Like, dude, I'm surprised they're not chanting "We want the cup" already in round 1. They probably will tomorrow or on Thursday night. They'll probably be chanting "We want the cup" after they go.
Okay, let me ask you this, Andy.
You got to play the big bad Bruins next, boys.
So okay, how do you think if the Leafs finally win and these guys get out of the first round, do you think they stand a chance against the Bruins? Be honest and not a hater.
Oh, I mean, I think they for sure seen it. I mean, like the Ryan O'Reilly effect, and this is not me being a Blueser. That's what I call Blues fans that are kind of like Leafs fans. Like that's so I do this with Blues fans too. There's Blues fans I call Bluesers, and they're it's like in St. Louis
they're pink hat. Like they are
like,
around only when they're winning, and
so I call them Bluesers, and like the Bluesers, I always make fun of because like Ryan O'Reilly's like a god to them. He can do anything, right? Okay, I'm not being a Blueser. Like I think Ryan O'Reilly is that impactful. I really do.
100%.
And I think that's the O'Reilly factor. I think like the guys like Achari, O'Reilly, Lafferty, I think those guys are gonna make they've made a big difference already. And I think those in the series, if the big boys can just like keep it going, I think they go right. Because I mean, think about it. Like over the years, like there's been a lot of good Bruins teams that they've been neck and neck with, and it's just like a bounce here or there. They go to Game 7, they blow the 1 lead, like all that stuff. By the way, that's another thing. Good God, can we stop comparing Game 7 with 9 minutes left to the freaking game last night?
I didn't see that. There's a lot of that.
Oh,
it's not even close.
There's no more. There's no more like whatever. Like we blew a 3, like whatever. Like no. That was Game 7. And you literally, all you got to do is kill the clock for 9 minutes. Yeah. And anyways, whatever. So, yes, I think the only thing is the Bruins look pretty good without Bergeron. And
I know, that's what people are realizing. There's no Bergeron.
Yeah, and they can kind of like chill now because I think the Panthers are done. Like, I love the Panthers because I don't know, I just love like hockey and like weird markets because I want to see hockey grow. Mm-hmm. And, and I love like Matty Tkachuk, like obviously, and stuff like that. But I don't know. I think they're done tonight, and I don't know. I mean, they might as well just like rest Bergeron. I don't know. I don't think he's playing. It's
unless
like,
he goes to 6. Like I doubt he wouldn't play 5, but he might.
No,
play 6.
No Krejci, no Bergeron. It's just like, but like, and the one thing, the difference, like like you just go down like the rosters. Like I would say goaltending, like Olmark's obviously better than Samsonov. The decor, I would think Boston has a better decor. Yeah, I mean, I don't. It's just. I feel like just Boston has like the pedigree, and they have like a lot of rats too. They have like an annoying team, like so does Tampa, but it's not the same. Like those guys like Bertuzzi and Marchand are good. I still think the Bruins win in like 6 or 7, but like I think they'll definitely give them a run. I just like I said, I can't see the Leafs with this team with Samsonov especially. I can't see them going through like the whole playoffs winning 16 games. That's just me.
When you're from the beginning. In the Blues Cup run, they had a pretty good decor. Was there one though that was like just a brutal?
Well, it's funny. It's like going into it, I wasn't even saying like he's like brutal. It was just like Carl Gunnarsson. Like You know, like how is he like, and then he ends up scoring that goal in game 2 and he played with Alex Petrangelo. I mean, their decor was just so like big and lanky and annoying and the team was just so physical. But I mean, here I will say this, I'll give the Leafs credit like right now. Those like little moments like the comeback last night, especially and the one like the night before or 2 games before, those remind me of like moments that I had like when the Blues did win the cup though. It was like things like, Schwartz in Game 5 in Winnipeg, and I could just go down like
diving
different things.
save Binner
against
Dallas.
Binner. Yeah, it's just like you remember little things, but like I said, it's still just so early. And it feels like I guess because we've been on like this hockey high the last like week or two, that it feels so
it is the only franchise that it feels like a cup win if they get out of the first round simply because of their history. Like,
yes.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it does, because I feel it too. Like, if they finally win a round, it's like, holy smokes, it's happened. But, like, now just the second round starts. And, like,
am I wrong about that too, by the way? Am I wrong to think that, like, with, like, how deep they are into the core four and how much money they have into them? Like, am I wrong to say, like, why?
Well, like, there's a cap, but, like, yes, there's no, they can bury contracts and stuff. So, yes, they have more of an advantage than almost every other team. Yes.
Well, they can sign, like, the Joe Thorntons for, like, nothing. They can sign guys for nothing. The Giordano taking a pillow deal. Like, just stuff like that. What I'm saying is, am I wrong, though, to say, like, why isn't the mentality, like, we need to win the cup? Like, look at these, like,
I wonder how it changes. I wonder how media, like, I wonder how Sportsnet and TSN and all those things cover the Leafs and the dynamic changes, because I feel like that isn't talked about a lot at all. Because once they win a round, it's like, now what? It's like, okay, I guess they're going to, like, now it's the cup. But you know what I mean? Like, that's going to be really weird if they do, because it's like, they're so, you know what I mean? Like, that's going to be, it's going to go from one round to we need to win a cup, like, immediately. I wonder if it is like that. Or if it's just like, they won a round and they're just happy to be there. Because, like, what's going on in Seattle, you would think they're just happy to be there. Mm-hmm. And I wonder if, like, when they get into the second round, it's like, you're the Bruins. They have a chance, though. They have a chance to, like, exercise all demons on this. Because if they get Boston, the best regular season team in the history of the sport, technically the best team ever, in the sense of just production in a season, and it's the Bruins who have eliminated them three times. Mm-hmm. It's like, and if they knock them off, dude, like, if they get over the Bruins, you think they make the cup, given who's left on the other side?
Unless the Rangers get their crap together, because that'd be like the only team that would like scare me. Even though I know they look like bad right now, but it's the Shesterkin in that would scare me. Yeah. It's always the goalies, right?
The goalies, yeah.
And like, and even Vasi, despite like all these deflections going on, like he's been pretty pedestrian.
It's funny because this is what happened last year. They made Vasilevsky look real human for like the first time ever, and then 5, 6, and 7, he just eliminated the Leafs. Like,
and Cheeser, what Cheeser and Chess is they aren't playing the 0-2. I think me and Sleep, like when we mean like the best, just like the statistically, the Wings are the best because they played with ties and they put up that much with ties. Like, and now there's no ties. There's shootouts.
Avalanche.
Yeah, there's shootouts and there's 3-on-3. It's and like I agree with you. Like the 0-2 Wings are probably the greatest team ever. And there was no cap though too. So it's just there's so many different goofy
Yeah, I'm just saying like that would technically be the statement is to like they would beat the best team ever. Yes. All right, so I'm excited.
Wait. We got to go one more thing though. Go one more thing. What do we think about the Kyle Dubas with the fans?
Oh man, So I made a joke. I love Kyle. Your tweet. I was like, Kyle, you're talking shit to a fan base that just saw 3 straight cups. I'm like, let's win a round first. It's funny because like I made that joke, but
how about Spencer next to him just being like,
in reality, we don't know. Apparently, I was listening to The Drive on Sportsnet, and apparently he was yelling at a Leafs fan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, okay. Because you don't know what that's like. Like, you have all you saw was a clip.
None of us were there, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So all it does is look like him yelling at the fan base, at like talking his, puffing his chest out, and like that's, I'm willing to bet that is not it at all.
No,
but, I'm super excited. Yeah. I made this. I super over exaggerate. I said that social media stops in North America when the Leafs are on, and that's totally not accurate. But the casual hockey fan they don't watch hockey, but if they're walking past, they'll maybe stop and look. if it's the Leafs, that is what I meant. Like, if the Leafs move on, I don't think it's out of the question that it breaks.
That's what we were arguing about.
Yes. I don't think, or I think there's a real possibility if the Leafs move on and play Boston, and they're going to play Boston, that it will break some of the Stanley Cup viewership records.
Oh yeah, it should.
Like
right?
100, like Penguins, Sharks, Penguins, Nashville. We willing to bet a ton that it crushes that, because everyone, even if you're not a fan of the Leafs or Bruins, and you're just a passive, about the Leafs history with the Bruins, you will tune in and watch that, and I think that is just good for the sport. I think the Leafs moving on is like necessary for just hockey's popularity, because it's just going to be nuts. But that was a lot about the Leafs. Leafs in 5. So, also, actually, before we go on, apologize. I lost $300 last night
on the Bolts.
Yes, I made a big bet, being like, okay, if the Leafs lose, I bet $350 on the money line.
You emotionally hedged. Yeah.
No, I'll go to the game with my dad because tickets are so expensive. So I placed a massive bet, and I am 100. This is how I know. I'm on board. I don't care that I lost some money. I'm happy with the 3-1 win.
Are you going to Game 5?
No, I'm not, because like I don't want to spend $1,000. That's the reality. Especially because I spent $1,000 and then I went to Game 1, and the product I paid for was not what I paid for. So
isn't it funny? The narrative now is like Mr. Man in the chats, and it really is like keep flicking turds and you'll win the game. Like it is kind of funny because
they never do that. That's not their game.
No, I made a joke like before we went live. I'm like, Mitch Marner. I even see him flicking turds, and it's like he would never do that in years past. He'd always want to, he'd want to hold on to it, or so hey, it's working. So if I'm a Leafs fan, I'm like, put everything on net. Yep. I mean, whatever, it works.
I cannot wait to see how the series plays out. But let's move on. That was a lot on the Leafs, but as it should. Edmonton, Friday, the Game 3, high stick or no?
I think it was.
Are you okay with the call?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, it's like one of those, yeah, I mean, I guess I am. It's not my team, so it's hard for me to be like, I'm fully okay with it.
Yeah, it's hard if you were biased, obviously, you're going to be pretty upset.
But then it's like, like then the Kings the next night, it's like, well, you blow a 3-goal lead, so it's like, well, I don't know. Or the next night, not the next night, the night after. But you know what I mean? I don't know. It's just, I think it touched the stick, though, yeah.
It's funny because the I think it was Kipper, again, I listen to so much Sportsnet, he said that if you would not bet your mortgage, like if you had to bet your mortgage that it touched a stick, there would be a lot of people that wouldn't do it. And it was like, if you're not 100% confident, then you can't make the call to say that it touched his stick.
Right.
Because that's an overtime goal. Like, you know what I mean? So, like that, I'm okay with the goal. Dude, Edmonton, is it just because of the matchup? Because I talked about this earlier, like the two best defensive centers in the NHL probably are just like, I don't know, giving them fits. What do you think is going on with Edmonton in the Kings series?
I don't know. I feel like the Oilers should theoretically win tonight, but then again, I feel like the Kings always somehow win in Edmonton. I don't know why, but they, I don't know. Korpisalo looked like the best goalie in the playoffs for the first few games, and then they cracked them the other night, and I think they said Evander Kane might not play, so I don't know. And I know they're going back to Stuart Skinner, but I still think
would you do that?
I think I would go with Campbell, and that sounds crazy.
That's scary.
It sounds crazy because of Leafs fans, but the way he looked the other night, he made some big saves.
He did. It's not talked about. Like if you on the highlight, I watched.
The thing about Campbell when he's healthy is like he battles. Like he reminds me of like Tim Thomas. He's not like the greatest goalie in the world, but he battles. And the way he was playing the other night, like I don't know. I mean, I always go to the goalie that like gets the job done. And like Stuart Skinner started the game. He didn't. He let in 3 and they yanked him, and Campbell came in and he slammed the door. And I don't know. I would just go back to him. I don't think they're going to win off goaltending anyways. They're going to win off the goalie that lets in like the least softest goals. So
no, you're right. And
dude,
so if there was a point, I know it's going to bring up Matthews again, but if McDavid's best player in the world, not up for debate, all right. But then like 2 through 5, like McKinnon, Draisaitl, Matthews, whatever. What Draisaitl's doing in the playoffs is exactly what Matthews was not doing. Like he is like they are all over McDavid. I don't know what I don't know hockey to the level of like like Lalonde is doing in intermissions, which is crazy to have an active coach.
It is kind
Like
of crazy.
that is a wild thing because the thing that he said about Vasilevsky was crazy too because that's what ended up happening. He's been fantastic in terms of like explaining the game, especially to someone who understands hockey but maybe isn't looking for that. But what is going on with McDavid and Draisaitl is just? I heard a stat going into last night that all 14 goals that they've scored in the series, Draisaitl's been on the ice for.
He's unreal. I always make fun of it because he's like a goofy looking skater, but he gets the job done. Like I don't understand it. He's so good. It's crazy. I agree with you. Definitely I think McKinnon's the second best, but I don't know, him and Matthews 3 and I don't know who'd be 3.
You have to include like how they perform in the postseason. There's luck involved, but there is guys that just like Ryan O'Reilly. Like when you win a cup, it's so weird because you see a lot of repeat champions or at least repeat performances. It's not like the NFL where half the time the Super Bowl winner or the runner up, whoever loses in the Super Bowl, doesn't make the playoffs next year. Like it's like once you win in hockey, you just understand like the mentality. I don't know what it is. I would love to know, but there's just something that happens, and I don't know, man. The Oilers saved their season though. Yeah. Like you think, like
I think they did. I think Ryan O'Reilly, by the way, is going to get paid.
Dude, he's making money.
I used to think he might come back to the Blues, and now I'm like, well, not that I like. Here's the thing: I don't even know if I want him back. And that's not a thing. I know that sounds like
for the money.
Just and he's going to be 33. He has so many miles on him, and he's been banged up like most this year too, honestly. But he is like the perfect player for like a team like the Minnesota Wild.
It's a big Minnesota Wild guy. Or even just Kings.
Like, just any team that's, like, kind of like, well, why can't we just get over the hump? Like, Dallas Stars, just, like, those, like, teams that have been kind of, like, always around the last few years, but they never go to the, to the very end. Or they never go to, I know the Stars went to the Cup final in the bubble, but, it's, the league minimum O'Reilly talk for the Leafs.
He does love it. I don't know if you saw the thing that he did at Massey Hall with Dallas Green.
Oh, yeah.
Sick. That was sick. Anyways, no more Leafs. This
just made me think of, like,
the Leafs need to move on. This is why
the Leafs made me think of, like, playoff performers and stuff over the years that have been, like, paid because of, like a run. You know what I mean?
I mean, Danault essentially.
Who wasn't on the Blackhawks? Like, Marcus Kruger. Remember him?
Versteeg.
He got paid. Versteeg, like there's just so many like funny guys like that. Where Victor Stahlberg, remember him?
Victor Stahlberg, yes.
Like those Blackhawks. By the way, that's the one thing about. I know we're going back to the Leafs for a second, but that's the one thing. I'm so sorry. That's the one thing I was thinking of while I was watching the Leafs. I try to put myself like in a Leafs fan's shoes, and I felt like with the Lightning, I was like playing the Blackhawks again, like when they had that dynasty where it was like you can never put them away. That's the only thing I think. That you know what I mean? So Brian Bickle, that's a good one too.
Brian Bickle's a good one too. The So in the Edmonton Kings series, do you think that like that was like the Kings' chance to win the series, and they screwed it up and they have no shot now? Like,
I don't think they have no shot. I just think like Edmonton, like
I think we haven't seen the best Edmonton. Like I feel like a 9-1 win's coming. Like where they just rattle off.
McDavid, I just feel like he's not going to let it happen this year.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? He's going to find whatever way. He like sniped Korpisalo.
Oh, that one! Oh, yeah, dude. It's
terrible, like weird angle, and just like launched to top shelf. I don't know. It's just, it's I don't know. I think the Oilers will win that series just because like the firepower. So that's what I'm going with.
All right. So the other shit, Seattle and the Avalanche.
I know that one took a turn for
Game 4. If you were just watching highlights, dude, Seattle just pumped. Like, shots were like 45-21. Like, it was... I don't know, man. Like, Seattle... we both feel like there's no way Seattle wins that, right?
See, I said that, and then, like, the Makar suspension now. I know it's one game,
that was brutal, no?
Yeah, I know. I was surprised.
I couldn't believe it was Makar. I thought it was...
Yeah.
I was
I mean, I feel like if his name wasn't Makar and his name was Manson, he'd have 2 games.
Oh, yeah.
But it's, isn't that funny that like maybe the league like factors their names in? Like,
they 100% do.
We can't have Makar miss 2 games. What are we gonna do?
It was wild. It was like he didn't hear the whistle and he thought McCann got stopped on the breakaway and got the puck into the corner.
And now he's probably done for the series, McCann. So as a Kraken fan, you're like, well, I don't know. I know this sounds crazy. In the Avs, like, I mean, they've literally lost their entire like second line from their cup team. Kadri's gone, and then you have Nichushkin's probably out for the playoffs. And I guess if you consider Landeskog on that second line, but not really. But their lines were, you know what I mean. But you're missing 3 main guys from that team. I don't know. I still think the Avs are going to pull through because McKinnon, another guy where it's like, just get on my back. I watched him in the first game in Seattle. He was like, get on my back. I'm just going to go snipe whenever I want to. You know what I mean? And Rantan's the same way. So I still feel like the Avs win. What do you think?
If Seattle had 2 home games left, that place is, well, good for them. Like, that's got to be one of the most fun places to watch a hockey game now, a playoff hockey game, because it's like all arenas sound loud on TV, but there's like you can like tell if you've been to playoff hockey games before, like it's just like vicious, like it was nuts when Schultz scored that first goal in Game 3, like 3 minutes. They score immediately every game, like every game. Seattle's up
Vegas
1-0
their first year.
Yeah, it's exactly. It reminds me of especially as a Sharks fan, because that was 1-0 Vegas like every 5 minutes into every game. I think that's an interesting one. The Dallas and Minnesota series, I don't know if it's just because it's on like at weird time, like it's on the days that Edmonton, like it's kind of around that series, and I just haven't watched as much as I thought I would. It feels like Minnesota lost its chance, and they're hurt.
Eriksson Ek is done probably.
And Ryan Hartman was their first line center, and I think he's out now.
Yeah, that's why I say I feel like O'Reilly would be a perfect fit there. Even though he's not a 1C anymore, but he's just an all around like winner, and I don't know. But they I don't know. I know my buddy our buddy Camper. I feel bad for him and all fans out there. They've been through a lot too. Not
Same thing as the Leafs, man. Like,
they've been through a lot. They've been through a lot. And like that's a diehard hockey community. So it's. I
think the other problem is they also don't have another successful sport. At least the Raptors and the Blue Jays have been good in the last like decade. Mm-hmm. Dude, like every single Minnesota team, I feel bad, man. Like that's a franchise, that's a city I feel bad for. Like because if you are a fan and you grew up there and you're a local, like dude,
it's like Buffalo.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Only. Yeah, it's probably a little bit better place to live, but yes, it is exactly like Buffalo.
I think Dallas. I know Pavelski's skating. I don't know if he's gonna play tonight, but like I just feel like Dallas.
Robertson has felt invisible.
And then like when is Zach gonna wake up? And also Ottinger. I don't know.
Ottinger's been good in the playoffs. He's
like
not
so
just
good.
this playoffs.
He's just so good. He's just so, and like Gustafson let in a softie from Dadonov from like a mile away, and I was like, you can't do that,
Yeah, no, I agree. What are the? So the last thing is New Jersey and the Devils series. What, dude? What happened? Like, do you think this is like?
I don't know. The goalie is just. I think it's so funny. Like they throw the goalie in that.
Schmid, bro.
Guy was playing in the USHL 2 years ago. I've been joking. I'm like, man, I really want the Devils to go to Game 7 and then just devastate Henrique, and then and then like, but then I want Charles Ferris, Nippin' Biscuits. Everyone knows him on Twitter. I want him to sweat the whole time.
Yeah, because it's like an overtime.
Every game, he's like, I'm not worried. It's 2-1. Then it's 2-2. He's like, all right, fine, I'm not worried. It's 2-2.
This
like
franchise is so pathetic.
We need to fire Gallant in the middle of the series. You know what I mean? So it's like. It's at least becoming fun to watch. You know what I mean? Because like
it was boring. It was boring when it was 2-0.
Because now the Devils are moving. So, we'll see though if the rookie cracks at all. Patrick Kane ain't gonna go away quietly. I know that.
It's funny because he's like carrying low-key.
Yeah,
he's been and like it's just.
What was with the criticism after Game 1? He had an assist and they won 5-1, and people were like, Patrick Kane didn't do anything. It's like what? Like, what do you mean? Like he had an assist and they won 5-1. Like, what do you care? And the next game he went off.
Yeah.
So,
it was a big game.
Yeah.
But, no, like that one's, I will always, much like you mentioned, like in the playoffs, like if you have to bet, like just go with the best goaltender. Because how many times have we seen teams eliminated by an inferior team but a stacked goaltender? I still remember, like, in all honesty, like Jonas Hiller eliminated the best Sharks team of all time in the first round. And that was all Jonas Hiller, bro. Like, it was,
Jonas Hiller.
Bro,
he was a good goalie for a little bit.
It was.
Until he got the vertigo.
Yep, until he got it. I think that's it. I mean, that was a lot. Mostly Leafs dominant.
Vegas was Vegas the other one. Like
and Jets lost Morrissey. Like they are
Vegas. I was there for that. They're starting to hum. I think me and you called them in the beginning of the year. We said they're gonna win the division,
Yes.
and we said that they're gonna be dangerous in the playoffs, and they're starting. That reminds me, like that team's starting to gel. Like you can just tell, like they got their four lines.
Eichel actually did
good.
something.
Yeah, he looks good, and then, I mean, as long I guess as Brossois kicking them.
That's the thing, man. Like that, their goaltending situation is just you can't.
Yeah.
Like pump them, but then like not. You know what I mean? So like.
Oh, for sure, I agree.
Because their next round, next round is the King or the Oilers more than likely, right? Yes. Yeah.
That'll be awesome. That'll be an awesome series.
That'll be like 15 goals a game. I'd bet the over every single time.
Yeah. And what about
Eichel versus McDavid too? Like that would be good.
What about Islanders and Canes? Do you think that's over tonight?
Dude, I literally forgot about that because it's been so boring.
It's
no disrespect. It has legitimately. They put it on at 1 p.m. on the Saturday. It is legitimately. I've been to both arenas this year, and I was blown away by the atmosphere and the crowd and how they follow their team. Yeah. But man, if you are not from there, you do not care. And they just have no star power. That's it. They literally don't have anyone.
You know what? I'd like to see them go on a run though for I know they've won a cup already, Carolina, just because they've been so beat up with Teravainen and Svechnikov and
that's the thing though. Like I feel like whoever makes it out of that series is probably
they got the best decor left though. I will say that
they like Slavin and Burns and Hattenberg, Chatfield. Sorry, Chatfield. Like I don't know. Like yeah, like it's been they are very good, but man, Carolina is kind of like goal starved, and they lost when they lost Svechnikov, it really was like, okay, they don't, it's no longer a team that Boston's going to meet in the conference final. It feels like they'll probably lose to the Rangers, but the Rangers might not even get out of the second round. But yeah, like it just is a lot less interesting. However, I would like to see the Islanders, if the Islanders and Rangers, when was the last time that happened?
That'd be cool.
I don't think I've ever seen that in my lifetime.
No, yeah, that would be it. Their playoff edition was Pierre Engvall, Ian Brockvest. What am I saying? Bo Horvat,
yeah.
But he hasn't done much.
And you also have the third best goalie in the league. So
Sorokin's another Russian that I feel like he's been kind of meh. He has not been good.
He has not been great in the series. Yeah. He is not. Yeah,
that was where I thought. That's why I picked them in 7 because I was like, oh, sir. But that's the thing. I know this sounds crazy, but it's like if somebody told you and they could see the future, Vasilevsky stands on his head for 3 more games, Sorokin stands on his head for, would that completely stun you?
Yes.
No, it wouldn't stun me. I'd be like, well, I mean, you got goalied and by the best goalies in the world.
From our entire childhood up until we were 28 or late 20s, Russian goaltenders were non-existent. What the hell happened?
I don't know. I mean,
Shesterkin's, Vasilevsky, and Sorokin. That's wild.
The first Russian I can remember was
Nabokov, right? But he's not even from there. He's from Kazakhstan. But he
plays for Russia. I remember watching him play the Blues back in the day. And I was like, this guy's just unbeatable. I remember thinking that as a kid. I was like, this guy's so good.
He was a a great playoff goaltender that never got a lot of love because they just never won the cup. I was sad when he was gone. But
Nabby.
So tonight we got probably the Canes eliminating the Islanders. I feel like that's pretty confident. No Bruins in Florida tonight. I think the Celtics have a
Bobby
Bullen would be the big yes, that would be anyone. Yeah, the cup winner. Yeah,
you just couldn't lay off the bottle sometimes,
That was it, unfortunately. But yeah, so they I'm excited. The playoffs have been good. I think that for the first time in a long time, the second round might be better than the first. That never happens in hockey. The first round is historically the best and most interesting to watch. But if we get, Toronto, Boston, Vegas, Edmonton, even Minnesota, and if the Minnesota win Minnesota, Colorado, the history there, they're both injured. You never know. And Seattle, dude, if Seattle wins, man.
Oh, that'd be crazy.
They're America's team, bro. That's America's team.
Yeah, the NHL wants Toronto, Boston, then they want Toronto Rangers for sure.
Dude, that would be massive. The last 4 years, Edmonton making it, but then getting swept, was awful. But it just, if you were to look, man, the interest in the cup just drops off huge when those teams get knocked. But yeah, you're right, man. If Rangers in Toronto, that's massive. But all right, guys, that's gonna do it for this episode of Sleeves and Padre talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs.
We're gonna have a lot of angry Hut people out there.
I know they're gonna be livid if they go all the way through this, and we're not gonna talk about it anymore. This is way more fun. So in the comment section,
Yeah.
Say Leafs or Boston in 6 or 7, or Leafs and Lightning in 6 or 7. We'll see. All right, boys. That'll do it for us. We'll be back in a few days to talk more about the Leafs. Have a good one.